Well, hello there. Meteorologist Shawn Cable here in the First Alert Weather Center, and we had quite an interesting weekend with the snow on Saturday, but things are definitely getting better, and we have a more pleasant and warmer week ahead. But before we get too far and before we get into all of that, let's talk about some of the snow totals that we had. It was a very fluffy snow that we had across much of the region with a almost 30-to-1 ratio, and what that means is typically we call it a 10-to-1 ratio, where we have 1 inch of snow for a tenth of an inch of liquid moisture. Well, with this system, it was cold enough and there was enough air in between those snowflakes that we actually had 30-to-1 in spots, which means that a tenth of an inch of moisture gave us 3 inches of snow in a few spots. And you probably noticed that the snow piled up pretty good on Saturday, and once we got to Sunday, it squashed down because it does compact on itself. Even at the TV station, we had 3.8 inches that we measured right after the system moved through. But then on Sunday and Monday, it had squashed down to almost 2.5 to 3 inches of snow. So there was some compaction there, but boy, did we get some snow. And fortunately, it wasn't windy because that would have been a big problem. But look at some of these numbers. Lanesboro, which is southeast of Rochester, had 9 inches. We had 6.5 in Kasota and New Ulm. By East High School, we had 6 inches of snow. Janesville, 5. Lake Crystal, 4.2. Skyline in Mankato, 4 inches of snow. We had 3.8 at the TV station. Springfield, 2.3. Fairmont, just about an inch of snow. And one of the interesting things about this was the very sharp cutoff that we have. Look at some of these cutoff numbers. We had 3.9 inches at 6 Mile Creek County Park, which is between Mankato and St. Peter, and just about 3.5 to 4 miles away in Kasota, 6.5 inches. In Mankato, here at the TV station, 3.8 was our measurement here. Just a little east of the station, over east of Luray Drive, we had reports of up to 4.5. By East High School, which is about 4.75 miles away, 6 inches of snow. And one of the bigger ones, Rochester, had about an inch, but you go just south of Rochester, 30 miles to Preston or to the Lanesboro area, 9 to 10 inches down there. Even Stewartville, which is just on the south side of Rochester on I-90, had 6 inches of snow. So a huge cutoff with some of those snow amounts, but we're done with it for now. Things are looking much, much better as we make our way through the week. In fact, we're starting a temperature climb that's going to take us into the 50s for a good chunk of the week. Look at these numbers. We're talking 46 by tomorrow. We'll get to near 50 on Wednesday. Thursday, mid-50s with some folks to the south, possibly even getting into the upper 50s, and that trend is going to continue. We're going to go up and down a little bit to kick off the weekend, but by late weekend and next week, we're going to be back in the mid-50s, so some really nice weather coming up. I do want to talk about a couple of things. First of all, big eclipse tonight, the lunar eclipse, total lunar eclipse. It is going to be a blood moon bummer. I hate to say it. The eclipse happens at around, I think about 5:33 is when we'll be in totality with the eclipse. I don't think we're going to see much. Clouds are moving in. We have a system that's going to move across the region as we make our way into this afternoon, tonight, and Tuesday morning, and that's going to basically pull our chances of seeing this eclipse down to 0. In fact, the visibility, not great. And as we go hour by hour, you're going to see the system here as we move through the night tonight, and it's actually going to bring a little drizzle, and with temperatures dropping to where they're going to be, there could be a couple spots that have a little freezing drizzle late tonight into the morning rush hour on Tuesday. So be prepared for a few scattered slick spots on Tuesday morning. You can kind of watch how it moves through. It's going to be in and out fairly quickly. The sun will come out, I think, on Tuesday afternoon, but these low temperatures on Tuesday morning in the low to mid 30s, that is going to give us the possibility of a few scattered slick spots, especially on the bridges and overpasses. So keep that in mind, take that into consideration. Otherwise, we do have a system that's going to move through later this week, could bring some rain, maybe even a little thunder by Friday. So we'll be watching that. I don't expect severe weather, but a clap or two of thunder definitely possible. The weekend's looking pretty good, and then we may get a little more active again by late week. So keep an eye on things. Keep your KEYC First Alert app handy. It is the best way to stay in touch with everything that is changing. But for the most part, we are going to be warming it up, and it will start to feel a little more spring-like throughout the week. That's what's happening. Hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching.